you also have, however, a frightening thing happen that I've never seen in my lifetime. A growing distrust of the government from people who are usually waving the flag and very pro-America and pro-government. I don't know if we ever should have been pro-government, but people that generally have trusted the government. We had Operation Jade Helm, and I mean, that took law-abiding, normal citizens, a lot of people saying, wait a minute, what's going on? Is the government going to try to take over Texas? I mean, some crazy things are happening now because we don't trust each other.
Here's an interesting, I think, and if you put an individual, and I'll use myself, I haven't announced for the presidency, but if I did, let's say that I were to become the president of the United States, I think there will be a clearly change of attitude towards that office, what comes out of that office, the messaging that comes out of that office that clearly puts America back on a course where I hope people always question government. They should. Our founding fathers sent us that message that we ought to question government. But don't question your military. Don't question the men and women who have put their hands up and sworn this oath to our Constitution and defend this country. And to know that there is someone there who truly wants to get this country back on track, to get America being America again, where our allies trust us, and they know that this is a place that is going to be standing with us, that has the ability economically to get this country back on track, domestically strong from the standpoint of bringing manufacturing back, lowering the corporate tax rate, giving people opportunity to have the dignity of a good job. But also that allows the resources to come back into this country that can build our military back up. I mean, we've got the smallest the smallest army that we've had since 1940, Glenn.
So let me play Judy Woodruff here for just a second. Are you telling me that you don't believe that Barack Obama wants to bring America's engine back and prosperity back?
Well, I look at his results of his last 6.5 years. Obviously, that's not the case. If he did, he would have lowered the corporate tax rate. If he did, he would have opened up the XL pipeline. I mean, listen, your track record's what you're going to get graded on, buddy. And his track record is abysmal when it comes to economic development and bringing this country back economically. I mean, that is not even arguable. That's unquestionable.
Tell me about the border. How do we fix this with the Republicans pushing for, total, basically amnesty? And quite honestly, Rick, that is the last thing we need to do. There are 4.5 million people right now waiting in line to become a citizen to the United States of America. And we are gifting it to everybody who came in the middle of the night. But more importantly, and I know, ISIS is either on our border or will be on our border in short order. How are we going to get control of that?
Listen, the security of the border is not rocket science. As a matter of fact, last summer when the president came and I met with him, and I told him, I said, Mr. President, if you don't secure the border, Texas will. And after the meeting with him, I knew he wasn't going to take any action, and we deployed our National Guard there. We saw a 74% decrease in the apprehensions just by what Texas had done. You have a president of the United States that's committed to securing the border, and I will suggest you in a relatively short period of time, the border can be secure. And you do it by 3 actions. One is obviously personnel and putting the personnel on the border in the right places. Let me just tell you a side story here. Sitting on the ramp in Marine One, I told the president about his border patrol that was back 45 to 50 miles away from the border in an apprehension mode. He literally looked over to Valerie Jarrett and said, "Is that right, Valerie?" I mean, the president himself did not know where his border patrol was stationed. And so there's this clear way to put personnel on the border, in the river, which is what we did with our Parks and Wildlife wardens. And then the second part of this is the strategic fencing, which by and large is in place in the metropolitan areas. But the third thing, and this is the most important one I will suggest to you to finally secure the border. Put the personnel in the right places, but it's aviation assets. These are fixed wing or drones. I mean, we have the technology. We have the ability to look down 24/7, all kinds of weather, fly from Tijuana to El Paso to Brownsville, 1,800 miles, looking down every inch of the border. Technology, when you see suspicious or clearly illegal activities, have quick response teams that go and address that at that particular point in time. Glenn, that will secure the border.